Welcome to the Emapth Woman Awaken, the podcast that helps you uncover and realize your greatest potential. I'm your host and creator, Jennifer Lewis. After losing 82 pounds, I realized my greatest potential. Once insecure, afraid, and depressed, I now confidently embody my gifts, who I am, and what I feel called to do. I've built an international coaching practice and founded a federally recognized 501c3 nonprofit. I'm here to help you stop hiding and embody your greatest gifts so you too can unlock your greatest potential and achieve whatever it is you set your mind to achieve. This is Emapth Woman Awaken. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first podcast. I'm so excited to share this with you guys today. So I was going to tell you all about Smart Keto Academy and me and how I got here to tell you about my story. But then I thought, I'm going to give you what you genuinely want, and that is a lesson. You've come here to see what we offer through our courses. So what I'll do is I'm going to mix in my story with all our upcoming podcasts so you know who we are, what we do, and what and why we do it. But let me preface this by saying Smart Keto Academy was created because I know what it feels like to be 70 pounds overweight, completely overwhelmed and stressed out, and just feel completely trapped in a body that didn't feel like my own. I felt like I was on this never-ending emotional roller coaster, and I just couldn't get off. And I want you to know that I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to eat your emotions, to try to stuff them down, to numb out because life is just so busy and at times feels so overwhelming. And you wonder, like, how am I going to get this all done? And while you're caring for everybody else and doing all the things for everybody else, you then don't have time nor the energy to think about you. And so my pledge to you is that I'm going to give you the tools that I personally used on myself and on my clients, that it's going to give you a huge return on your time and energy. So that's my pledge. That's what I have. My promise to you is that I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to help you do the things that you want to do. And so before we get started, I'd really like you just to get really clear on what it is that you want. So one of the very first things I take my clients through and my students through in Smart Keto, right, is really helping them get clear on what do they want, right? What do you want by working with me? What do you hope to achieve? What do you hope to accomplish? And one of the ways that I do that is through a workbook I actually have on my website. And if you have not been there, you're probably going to want to go there. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you that website. That website is www.missenlewis.com/keto. And I will go ahead and have the link posted in the show notes as well, so you can go straight to there. And there is actually a 12-page guide that is going to help you just jumpstart your efforts to do keto in a smart and strategic way. as a woman and as somebody who's over 40, your body is different than it was when you were 20 or when you were 30. I'm sure you recognize that already. And so this guide is specially created with you in mind to really help you get the most out of those lessons. There's a cheat sheet in there. There's a keto cheat sheet. There's a goal planning. There's a meal planning. It's all there for you. And so what we're going to focus on though now is your goal setting and really getting clear on what it is that you want, right? And one of the very first actions and one of the very first steps of my 4 pillars is going to be about deciding, right? Getting really clear and deciding that no matter what, this is what I'm going to do. And that is a powerful statement, and I want you to practice that. And if you could think about that just for a moment, right? You think about no matter what, right? I'm going to make the decision right now and show up for myself. I'm going to learn the tools that will last me a lifetime, right? That is my goal for you, right? My goal is to teach you everything I know without you having to go to school for 10 years or, invest $60,000 in your education, right? You don't need to do that. I'm going to fine tune this for you, and I'm going to give you the most helpful, most effective tools that I've used, right? And so this is what I'd like for you is I want you to decide today to make the decision. Make the decision for yourself to show up, to even if it doesn't feel comfortable right now, right? Working through me, showing up on this podcast, showing up in our lessons and our classes. Really, I will help you believe in yourself. My goal is for you to understand your value because you are likely a woman who is serving in a very high capacity. You are giving to all of those around you. You are loving and serving and giving and almost with a martyr complex, right? In that, just that give and give and give and give. And I was that woman too. And I learned that from the women before me. And I see that within my church family. And as women, I want you to really think about something, right? Because sometimes we have guilt. Sometimes we worry that if we take time for ourselves, that we're taking time maybe from those around us. And I kind of want to help you shift that thought process to really understand that, even Jesus Christ went on the mountains before and by himself and prayed and spent time alone and nourished himself, right, before he went and performed, miracles and these big acts. And so I want you to think about that for yourself and also picture, a pitcher of water that has run out of water. It can no longer pour anything into the cup, right? Or gasoline from a car. That car can no longer go anywhere because it's run out of gasoline. And one final picture, when you get on, you're boarding your flight and you're waiting to take off, what does that flight attendant say to you? Say it with me, right? Put the mask on yourself before you help the person next to you. And so I want you to really understand the value of taking care of you, taking care of your needs, taking care of your wellness needs, taking care of your health, taking care of your body, right? not only your body, but also your mind, right? I have a holistic practice and integrate not only nutrition, but also these other three areas of our lives and how they affect our health and well being. And not only do we need to take care of our bodies, but also our mind and our spirit. And what I find with my clients is oftentimes we are imbalanced in several areas of our life, and then we are not functioning at that optimal level, neither in our mind, body, or spirit. And so we really work on that and bringing that all back into our balance, our body into balance, our mind into balance, which has to do with the nutrition and what we put into our body. And then also our spirit, which also has to do with what we put into our body. So the cornerstone program is, doing Smart Keto Academy, getting really clear on the foundations of health and wellness, right? On the foundations and how you can end those sugar cravings and stress and emotional eating. And, how can you boost your metabolism to burn that fat? And how can you, balance and brighten those moods so maybe like me, you're not on that emotional roller coaster anymore, right? So that's really the foundations of what can we do. And I'm going to give you those tools, but it really is up to you to decide that, okay, it is important that I take care of me so that I can serve and love and give back the way that I want to do, right? The way that I want to give, the way that I want to run my business, the way that I want to grow my career or love my family or serve in my church, right? Really, really understanding that you are a valuable piece, right? You are the most valuable thing in your life, that if you can't be you, you can't do everything that you do, right? And there's a lot I know that you do. And the best part about that is you come from that place of love. You come from that place of nurturing and kindness and wanting to serve and give. And so if I can get you just to really reframe and think about that you are your most valuable investment. You are your most worthy gift to invest the time, to invest the finances, to invest whatever it is that you need to be able to continue to give and do what you do. Because the more that you can be you and presenting at your highest, most best self, imagine what you could do in your life, right? And so that is what I'm asking you today, to decide, to make that decision, to show it for yourself and learn these tools that I'm going to give you, right? I'm going to give you the tools. I am going to give you the tools that are going to give you the most return, right? The most return on your time and energy. And you don't have to go and spend 10 years. You don't have to go spend, a ridiculous amount of money to do so, because I'm going to fine tune that for you, right? And I'm here to share with you, right, as somebody who has lost 70 pounds, who has gotten off antidepressant medication, who has balanced mood and no longer explodes, over the drop of a dime, right? I assure you that losing weight and bringing your body back into balance doesn't have to be overwhelming. And it can be permanent, but it's up to you to learn how that's done. And I'm here to teach you. I'm here to teach you the tools. So I'm just going to ask you today to decide and get very, very clear on what it is that you want. So I'm going to lead you through a few questions here. Okay. And my first question here, and really the first step, is just getting that real crystal clear on what it is that you want. But the most important factor here is going to be why you want it, right? So my favorite question here is that if you could, so wait, let me take a step back here. I want you for a moment. If you are not driving, you can do this. If you're driving, don't close your eyes because that wouldn't be good. Really. But no, what I want you to do here now is just, if you can, if you're in a place that you can do so, I want you to close your eyes and imagine for a moment that if you could wave a magic wand, right, and lose the amount of weight or look the way that you want to look or feel the way that you want to feel. Maybe you want more energy. Maybe you want, better digestion, right? Less pain in your stomach. Maybe you want brighter moods, right? Brighter, more balanced moods. Maybe like me, you have 70 pounds to lose. Or maybe you have 30 pounds, right? Maybe you just feel blah about life and you want to feel excited about it again, right? You want to just feel happy and healthy and you want to be excited and you want to be motivated, right? You want to get back to that place of achievement that you used to be. And one of the things I hear most from my clients is, I just want to be comfortable in my skin again, right? And so I'm going to ask you, how does that look? What would your goal weight or size be? Or what would your ideal emotion, what would you be feeling, right? If you could wave that magic wand, what does that look like? Okay. Now, what does having that get you? Right? So a little bit about my story is I was 70 pounds overweight and my clothes were all ill-fitting and I was getting ready to go up into another larger size. And then on top of, the junky moods and the overwhelm and being exhausted and being a slave to sugar and finding myself in the fridge, eating nachos and having ice cream and all of this at 10 o'clock at night with inability to sleep. My husband and I, my husband was getting a national award and no, I'm sorry. This was not a national award. This was actually just within his department. He was getting an award and it was a big gala and it was this beautiful event. And I went and I had to go find a dress, right? It's a formal event. I had to go get a dress and shoes and nails and all that fun stuff, right? And it was a time I should have really been having a great time. I mean, the dress and whatnot. I mean, I haven't had to put on a formal dress since I was in high school prom, right? I mean, it just didn't happen. So it was kind of an exciting time. I should have been excited about it. But as you know, when you were overweight or, for me, I was 70 pounds overweight, I was very insecure. I felt awful and I lacked confidence, right? I now understand that confidence can come from being any size, right? And understanding your value and understanding your self-worth. But at that time, that is not how I felt. I was very insecure. And so I had a really hard time finding a dress, but I did find one and it was beautiful. It was so pretty. However, we got there and I was so uncomfortable. I could not be in the moment. I could not enjoy this night. I could not be fully present to enjoy my husband's award or enjoy our dancing or enjoy the beautiful night. Instead, I was just insecure. And then I would use alcohol to help me feel more comfortable, right? And it was just this terrible behavior and what one of my coaches calls buffering, right? Where we just buffer. We don't want to feel what we feel. So we do things like overeating, we do things like over drinking, overworking, right? Overfilling our time because we're buffering, because we don't know how to feel those emotions and how to process and handle them. And so that's what I was doing. I was buffering, I was over drinking. And then that led to, just not getting along with my husband. And so it created this really negative cycle. And it was at that moment, actually, this is so silly, but it really is the truth. And I promise to be nothing but real with you guys, okay? I promise you to give you the truth and just the bottom line. You will hear me say that so much in my podcast is the bottom line, right? The bottom line, if you want to lose weight, the bottom line is you have to do the work, whether you feel like it or not. And the way that you do that is you work on your mind. You work on your thoughts. You work on changing your thoughts because they create your feelings and your feelings create your results, right? And so really understanding here that the truth of what really triggered me that night was there was a group of 3 women and they were checking out my husband. And if you've ever seen my husband, he is a hot little number and everybody has to tell me, which is fine now because I'm like, I know. Yep. And I have no insecurities. Well, maybe once in a while they'll sneak in, right? But I know how to change that thought and I change that process. But it's really insecure when your husband's this hot number, right? And then you're feeling completely insecure. You can imagine what that led to, right? And so that was actually what triggered me to just decide that is it. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to be this way anymore. I'm going to draw the line in the sand and I'm going to make the changes right now because I'm done. I am done. And I had been on many diets, right? I had tried everything from Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Atkins. What else did I try? Oh my gosh, I tried everything. Vegetarian, vegan, raw foodie. I mean, I did everything. Every diet you can imagine and probably lost the same 20 pounds 100 times. Okay. And it wasn't until I found what worked. It wasn't until I found what worked for my body. And that's why I'm here now teaching you what I've learned, right? Because there is a connection to our gut health. There is a connection to our gut and our digestion and our weight and our hormones and our minds, right? It's all connected. And I did not understand that before. I did not understand how the body functioned and how that would affect my weight. And so that is what I'm teaching you, right? And so as you're going through this process, right, what does this get to have for you? For me, losing the weight meant confidence, meant safety in my marriage, which, I now know that was not a true thought, but at the time it felt very real. It felt very scary. And I didn't want to feel that way, right? So what is losing that weight? What does balancing your moods, right? Boosting your metabolism, managing maybe the inflammation in your body, right? Or the insulin resistance, maybe managing that means you don't go on diabetic medication, right? What does that mean to you? What does that get you, right? Being confident, thinking clearly, having energy to keep up with your kids. I have a grandbaby now, right? I can run and play and I ride horses with my daughter and we go boating and we do all of these things right? That I couldn't do if my body felt the way that it did, almost a decade ago, riddled with pain, just completely exhausted, not having energy, not feeling like doing anything, right? And so that opened up this entire world for me to be able to do what I do, be able to inspire and encourage and coach and love on those people around me, to be able to have a solid relationship with my husband, to be able to have, the intimacy that I do with him and not be thinking about other things, right? What my body looks like, right? So what then does that get for you? What does feeling confident, focused, full of energy, feeling happy and full of joy, right? What does that get to open up for you? What does that get to create for you in your life, right? One of the things that had opened up for me recently is I had this job offer that somebody found me out of the blue, wanted to move me to a private island, right? And be a head wellness coach for influencers from all around the world, right? And what an amazing opportunity. But I have the clarity of mind because I know what I want. I can choose in those moments what is best for me, what is best for my family, and so on, right? But what gets to open up for you? What kind of magic experiences gets to unfold for you? Really ask yourself, does it mean a deep, meaningful connection? That intimate love affair with your partner, more meaningful work, a greater willingness to be seen. That is something that's right there. At my church, we go and the members are the ones that actually give the lessons, right? So in our women's groups or in our sacrament meetings, the members are the ones that get up there and they give their talks. And you all know that's uncomfortable as it is when you get up there. I mean, what's that saying? People, what's their number one fear? It's people would rather not speak in public, right? They would rather die than speak in public. So now imagine that you have the confidence to get up there, right? And now you've got the focus, you've got the brain focus to do that. And really having confidence. Maybe you own your own business and you have to get on there and do Facebook Lives and be seen, or go and give presentations to close some big deal at work, right? Or sell a house. You go and you've got to present yourself. Really think about those things because it's never, ever, ever about the weight. It is never about the weight. It is always about what do you get to have? What gets to open up for you that you are not experiencing now that you'd be able to experience if the weight wasn't an issue, right? And going through this and really getting clear, right? I like to call it clarity of purpose. Really understanding and getting clear about this will help you when it comes time to decide and then commit to being successful. Commit to having commitment even when it gets uncomfortable. Because here it is. Here's the bottom line. Life will happen. Life is going to happen. You cannot control life. And sometimes life gets really uncomfortable, right? Maybe you've got to move, or you've got to get a new job, or you have a change in your relationship, right? Or a loved one, you've got to care for an aging parent. When that happens, your commitment is going to carry you through. Your commitment is going to help you do hard things, right? This is my kids this morning on their way to testing. I told them, okay, kids, we can do hard things, right? We can do hard things. The only reason we can't do hard things is because we tell ourselves we can't. And you've all heard that saying, either you can or you can't. Either way, you're right? Either way, you're correct. So really understanding, getting clear on why do you want this, getting really clear and deciding that you're going to do this. And then showing up with me. Show up with me on these podcasts. Show up with me on Facebook. Show up with me in the group. Show up with me on our newsletter, right? Go get your guide, right? Go take that master class. I am giving you. So we're going to talk about keto, right? We're going to talk about keto because that is the foundation on the health side. And I created Smart Keto Academy, right? Because I had a lot of my clients and a lot of my friends coming to me and asking me, what do you think of keto? What do you think of keto? And really the bottom line is I think it can be very unsafe. I think that it can create a lot of issues if it is not done correctly. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to create this academy. I'm going to create these courses so I can teach people the bottom line, right? How can we do healthy? How can we do keto in a smart and strategic way to help you, right, as a mature woman who's busy in life, make the best, most powerful choices for your own well-being. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I've created this podcast, Smart Keto Academy podcast and Smart Keto Academy digital courses, right? Because this is what I want you to learn. This is what I'm here to teach you so that you can do keto smartly, so that you can do keto effectively, so that not only is it going to help you with weight, but it's also has been shown to reduce insulin resistance. It's been shown to reduce cholesterol, right, in your body, which your triglycerides, the numbers can come down when you're following keto in a smart, healthy way. My cousin's triglycerides were off the charts and he brought them down with keto. And so it can be done. The inflammation and that in your body that leads to chronic illness can be lowered, but it needs to be done in a smart way. And that's what I'm here to give you, right? So not only is this podcast going to be about the foods and the lifestyle that it takes to be healthy, but we are going to work on what we talked about today, right? And that's just one part of the mindset piece, because that is something that is missing in most programs. They give you the how-tos of what foods to eat, what foods not to eat, how much, how little, this type of thing. However, they're missing the vital part, which is changing the mindset, improving your mindset to make these choices, right? So that weight doesn't have to be an issue for you any longer. Instead, right, you know exactly what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, the recipes, the food to buy, and you actually take the steps and the action to do so. So, thank you, thank you. This is our flagship episode number 1, right? I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you've gotten useful information that you can start applying today. We've covered the mindset piece and really getting clear and really deciding today that you are going to do this. Your next step is going to be go download that free guide and watch that masterclass and get on my newsletter. And then you will not miss a thing, right? And on that newsletter, I release information there that you will find nowhere else. So make sure you go get on the insider email list and download your free guide. And we will see you next time right here with your host, Miss Jen Lewis. In the meantime, go be healthy, happy, and give to the world what you are here to give. Blessings and health and happiness, guys. See ya later. Hey there again, friend. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode of Emapth Woman Awakened. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your aha moments and what really encouraged you to stop hiding and really impacted your life or that of your child's, and to where you felt more empowered to embody these gifts and truly share what's on your heart and what's on your mind, and to live just an authentic, amazing life, reaching your greatest potential. If you could leave that review over in iTunes, that would be amazing. And I also want to remind you that over on my website, missjenlewis.com/empath, I have a very special gift for you. It is a top 10 checklist. It's the top strategies that I use on myself, on my clients, and even on my children to really help them thrive in what sometimes feels like an overwhelming world, right? We're these highly sensitive beings. Our little children are these highly sensitive beings. We have big goals, we have big dreams, and just maybe we feel stuck, or we just feel restricted by these negative energies that hold us back. And if you go over there and download that, and it's free, there's no upsell or none of that crazy stuff. It's just going to be a way to really just give you a checklist and how you can live your most amazing life using these gifts and unlocking your greatest potential to show up for your highest good. So go on over there, missjenlewis.com/empath. And until next time, y'all have an amazing day. These statements in this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, nor are they intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. In fact, if you have a chronic illness, we do recommend that you work closely with your physician before making any changes whatsoever to your wellness plan. Results are not typical and weight loss is not guaranteed, but you're not the typical person, now are you? So now go have an amazing day.